Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide. Today we're going to be reviewing a standard Android phone. Why am I reviewing a phone all of a sudden, you may ask? Well, I get contacted quite often by different manufacturers with different proposals, and usually that's not something that I am interested. Why did this one actually catch my attention? Well, because one sentence it had in its promotional material which said, "Redefine clarity for low light photography." Right? And that's something that I am genuinely interested in, because if a portable device like this can actually offer superior low light photography to what I normally have in my pocket, then that's definitely something that I'm interested in, especially if it's video, because that's always a useful thing to have. So that's literally the only reason why I accepted this. And full disclosure, Blackview has sent me this review device on loan, which is going to go back to them, of course. So I don't get to keep the device. I'm not paid for this review or anything like that. So that's the disclosure, so that you know under which conditions has this been kind of accepted. And good lord, the color. Anyway, let's get on with the review. So here's the mobile phone in question, the Blackview A95. So the version that I have here is called Color Fantasy Galaxy Rainbow. And no, it is not an iridescent kind of a thing. This is all just a painted hues on a plasticky, or not plasticky, the plastic, very scratchy plastic kind of back. We have metal looking sides also painted, so it goes from this kind of gold to, I don't know what this, purple-ish. Also all plastic. Buttons also all plastic, and we have this kind of frame all around which is all plastic. We have gold, we are up going into this kind of purple color. It sort of would have made more sense if it was matching the back. So if it's already changing the colors, then it should be like this kind of gold and then bluish here on the sides, and then kind of hue changes all the way to here, and then have a purple thing. Now the way it is, it's kind of disconnected, and you have this gradients here and then gradients there. Generally not a fan of these kinds of colors. On the back we have the triple camera system. On the back I believe it's a Sony's camera system, but I can't get proper information about it. I tried, I asked them, but I got a tech sheet and it's like this is the most complete information we have, and there it also says that it's a 20 megapixel camera, but we have 3 of them, so I don't know if they're narrow, far, telelens or whatever. I don't know. So that's what we got. Front is of course just a flush screen with a pre-applied screen protector, so that's a nice thing to see. Bottom is a microphone, USB-C and a single speaker. On the left side we have a poppable dual SIM card slot or SIM card plus SD card slot, and on the other side we have a power button and the volume rocker. And it's nice and precise. There's nothing really bad about that one. So for a budget device, I think that it's kind of manufactured in a good way. You don't have anything obviously kind of wrong. 6.5-inch IPS LCD display that runs a resolution of 1600 by 720. The device has an 87.3% screen to body ratio. It has an aspect ratio of 20:9. Has a teardrop front camera design. In the spec sheet they say that the material construction is metal and plastic, but maybe the metal is just inside. Everything outside is full-on plastic. And on top I would guess that the screen is also glass. A95 is equipped by an octa-core 2.1 GHz CPU. It has an ARM Mali G72 GPU. It has 8 GB of LPDDR4 RAM, which is really a lot for, basically it's twice as much as any competitor in this price range gets. Usually what you get is 4 gigs of RAM, and it has 128 GB of storage, which is also double than what you normally get for a device of this price range. So those are definitely points of value for the A95. Storage standard is UFS 2.1, so that is a good thing. And it has also the expandable SD slot here, which supports cards up to 1 terabyte. This is a 4G device, so no, it does not support 5G bandwidth. Features that it has, lock screen with face recognition, fingerprint unlock, password pattern unlock. I haven't tried the face recognition thing simply because I'm not going to upload that biometry anywhere, this device included. And I'm not going to test out the fingerprint unlock, again, because of the same reason. I am not going to upload my biometric data. However, the password and the pattern unlock system work fine because the touch recognition is very precise, very responsive, and really, really good. It has a G sensor, it has a compass, and has all of these normal things that you would expect from a modern phone. The camera itself has several modes. So it has an HDR2 mode, it has a night mode 2, AI portrait with bokeh, portrait color, AI beauty, and the video also has the HDR video capability. It has a really large battery of 4,380 milliamps, which is really, really cool, and it supports fast charge of 18 watts. I let it deplete all the way to shutting down, so to 0, and then from that state to charge all the way up within 2 hours, it was actually charged up on a quick charge, so that's also good. Blackview A95 runs an Android 11 out of the box with a Doki OS 2.1 on top of it. It is 8.5 millimeters thick or thin, however you want to look at it, 75.5 millimeters wide and 163.7 millimeters tall. It weighs at around 195 grams, and for a battery of that size and a device of this size, it feels okay, not on a light side, not on a heavy side, kind of Goldilocks-y, just right. Overall design, yeah, I wish that I could see the ocean blue or the night black, anything except this fantasy galaxy rainbow, because this is not something that I am a fan of, and I don't think that it translates well when used with these materials. I think it's executed nicely, and you do get this, because of the surface that's been done like that, you get this kind of shiny thing, if that's what you're into. I mean, not into any of these things, so this is really not my cup of tea, but if I'm trying really hard to ignore the color and I imagine it that it's black, well, then it's just a perfectly normal phone. It sits in the hand quite okay, it wakes up normally when you flip it around, so it's a nice thing to have actually that unlock and lock functionality. It would be cool that it had a lock functionality when you flip it back onto the screen automatically, which it doesn't, but then again you can just press the button and then it's locked. So it works just as a normal phone should. Phone calls and the quality of sound was okay. People who heard me on the other end said that it's okay, it's nothing super clear, but it's not muffled, they could understand me. Again, everything okay. Something that you expect from a device at this price point. What is the price point, you may ask? Well, the price point is, I believe at the launch last week, they had an early promo price, which I don't know what it actually was, because the initial link that was sent said one price, then they said it would be maybe at $159 and maybe it's going to be $149, but either way, that promotion I think ran from 21st to 23rd. I had scheduled videos already that were there in front, so this one unfortunately didn't make it in time for that, but the regular price of it is, I believe, $210 or 209.99 US dollars. So the main competitors for the Blackview A95 would be, I believe, Samsung would be like A22 series or something like that, but basically all of them that you actually take out, they have the same type of display, same resolution, all of these things pretty much the same, but where A95 does kind of beat out the competition of that price range is those 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. So that is a definitive advantage of the Blackview A95 when compared to the other phones in the same price bracket. The camera on the A95, which is and was the main point of interest for me, I mean, basically the only reason why I accepted to check this out, because of the claim of the, yeah, whatever they claimed, that's not really something that I can see. Yeah, true, it handles low light conditions okay, but nothing really special, and nothing better or worse than what I would expect from devices of this price range, or what I've seen so far with the devices of this price range. On the contrary, actually, I've seen some devices, especially Samsung, being able to handle these things better. That being said, yeah, it does have an HDR mode, it does have an HDR off mode, and it's okay, but the colors are generally quite washed out. One thing that's interesting is that the front camera, interestingly, performs better in my mind and into my eye than the back camera on the A95. So I guess that is a positive, but you definitely get nicer contrast and nicer colors. But that being said, it's also washed out. And just as a comparison here, a couple of images of the same conditions from my OnePlus 7 Pro, which granted is a more expensive device, but it's much older, but it does have a much better camera. So yeah, it's not really something special. Now the video examples are pretty much in line. They're perfectly usable, like the images as well. Maybe a little bit more usable to my eye than the than A95 can work a little bit better for videos than the images. But that being said, it's nothing really spectacular. Again, pretty much the same story. Perfectly usable, but absolutely nothing special in either direction. It's not especially bad, not especially good. It's just okay. One thing that was very, very peculiar is that for whatever reason, as soon as I would switch the HDR on, the video material would be recorded in a portrait mode. So I had to manually rotate the video material, video clips here in the editing to actually make them landscape. And also they record, I think, in 24 FPS or something like that. And as you can see, I mean, yeah, it does the HDR, but the image clarity and quality is just really bad, and there's screen tearing and all this kind of stuff. So for example, here's a pan with HDR off and then HDR on, same kind of screen pan, and you can see dropped frames, general lack of clarity, like huge drop off in image clarity. And this is the video rear camera, non-HDR, yeah, in the shade. And let's just walk into the sunlit portion to see how it deals with it. And there we go. So now we're in the sunlight. And it's actually quite pretty. Alright, and this is sunlight. This is the rear camera on A95. I'm in the sunlit position. And let's walk backwards and hopefully not fall, or maybe walk this way and then turn around. Maybe that's a better option. So here we go, we are in the shade, and this is how it looks like in the shade, and I believe the video is still HDR. So so this is a front camera testing out the microphone and how it works. I'm in the shade, and now when I move into the sunlight, let's see, because the sun is finally coming out. There we go. This is how the sunlight looks like, and this is the front camera on the A95. Okay, so capturing video in low light conditions, nighttime conditions actually, so you can see how it is, how much noise there is. This is the front camera. So now let's switch to the back camera, and this is the same thing but the back camera, and it's going to be interesting to combine and compare the results. When you power it up, it looks rather nice. It performs kind of normal. It's not super fast, but it's not super sluggish either. So when we're talking about this phone, it's in a lower price category, which is to be expected. So some kind of sluggishness. We don't have like super high refresh rates or anything like that, but I wouldn't characterize it as sluggish. I would characterize it that it actually functions a little bit more on a snappier side of things. Now I'm running a really heavy site here. That's their website. From Google, which unfortunately Chrome has turned into a hog, especially on mobile devices. So yeah, the scrolling works nice. It's kind of, when the animations are there, they are there. So it's okay. I mean, something that I would normally expect it, and I don't see anything especially wrong with the device, especially because I spent quite a bit of time using it. So anything that I use is kind of normal, depending on the auto rotation also is detected normally, and it's able to do things as you would expect a device to do. When you play a video, then it looks like this, and then let's just increase the brightness a little bit. You can skip ads and see the performance, how it performs. Let's bump up the volume. My name is Voya, and welcome to My Deep Guide. Today we are not really the nicest kind of a tone. It doesn't have anything special, doesn't have any kind of technology. It's just a single speaker going all the way there. So yeah, the performance, again, I think that's what it comes down to, is normal and snappy. So everything that I want, the touch, the touch is good. So basically all that kind of works. Rotating, he's able to switch back and forth normally. So one thing that's weird, he defaulted to 480p, not 720p, even though this is a 720p screen. So let's see how does he deal with a 4K video and what the performance is once he loads it up. And if he loads it up, let's see. So I've told him to, oh, he went to higher picture quality 180p. And now I don't have an option to get higher. The video is most definitely 4K, but the device basically maxed out at 1080p. So yeah, there's no point, I guess. Somebody would say there's no point to watch a 4K content, but it is a test of the device's performance. At 1080p, let's see the performance, and it's able to jump around normally. It's not really being sluggish or anything like that. Plays everything that it normally does. Now, one of the things that I do like to do is to run a CPU throttle test. And the CPU throttle test is basically, it loads the machine all the way to the maximum, all of the cores, everything, it stress tests it. And then you will see like the efficiency of the platform itself, how good, how strong it is. Will it start to do thermal throttling? When will it do thermal throttling, and how far that thermal throttling will go? Now, usually a test like this lasts for 15 minutes. So that's not what I'm gonna show you here, the entirety of the 15 minutes. But what you can actually see, well, very closely, well, almost immediately, is that as soon as I start the test, it is going down to around 90-ish percent of the speed, which again, for a budget device is okay. Some people may say like, oh, it's already going down. No. This is considered to be okay. Everything in the range of 80 to 100 for a device in this category is considered to be okay. And when I ran it twice to see how it performs, and it never fell to something really too red or anything like that. It hovered around 80-ish%, which is something to be expected. So here I am running Solar Explorer New Dawn. That's my own game that I made a couple of years ago. And that one I know exactly how it's made. So if the device is actually gonna hiccup or do something, then I will understand what is going on and where the problems are. But as I'm testing it, it's just performing normally as it should. Everything reacts well, everything is good, so it doesn't have any memory issues, everything is as it should be. So this is a relatively kind of smooth thing, but now let's start the mission and then see. Alright, so let's see how does it perform now. Do we have some hiccups or not? Nope, no hiccups yet, which is good. Does it heat up? Nope, very smooth. So the performance is stable and good. I've been playing this for a little while to allow it to heat up to an operating temperature. So this is not the device running cold, which means that if it was gonna thermal throttle, then it would. Let's smack into something to get an explosion and see if it triggers it normally. Very nice explosion, but also there was no hiccups, there was no missed frames or anything like that. So it's able to run quite good. And I forced it to run at 60 frames, so it is capable of doing that too. So let's see further forward. Let's smack another one, if I don't die. Ooh, oh, there we go. Okay, so that is a heavy thing. I wanted to force it to get multiple explosions to see when will it do a little bit of a frame drop, and it did do a frame drop, but that is perfectly normal and that is to be expected for what was going on here. So that test was, yeah, it passes that test for sure. So yeah, for gaming and things like that, I think that it works pretty well and it performs very stably. All right, so the Blackview A95. I think that it offers quite a lot of stuff for the price. So for 200 bucks and what you can get for that amount of money elsewhere all around, I think that it's a really good value for money. But there's a problem. I think this is Hong Kong or maybe China, I don't know. Either way, I can't find a distributor in Europe or in US, which means that if you buy this device at $200 and you will have to pay shipping and you will have also import taxes, and that bumps it up to, depending on where you are, 12% or 25% if you are in EU. So then it becomes actually more like $250. And it's still good value. Even with that in mind, even at $250 with tax and everything added, it's still actually a good value because of those 8 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of storage, and it generally does things good. Just don't get this color. I mean, I don't know, maybe you like it, but for me, it is just way over the top. But overall, I think it's a good phone. I had one problem, which was it couldn't hook up to the Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz network that easily, and it kept dropping off. But that was on my, when I tried one other, then it was okay on that other one. So I'm not sure. I've never had a problem with the 5 gigahertz that I'm using here, but it did manifest itself on this one. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But you know, battery life is great. It does anything that I threw at it, it worked normally. And I lived with it for a week and I used it as my own phone and I didn't encounter any problems. I didn't miss anything terribly from my old phone. It was perfectly fine. The main thing that I was interested in was that low light photography. So does it redefine clarity for low light photography? I don't know, but is it okay under low light conditions? Yeah, it certainly is. Blackview A95. Is it something that redefines anything? No, it doesn't. But does it do things well for its price range? Absolutely. It does everything that I wanted it to. It did it well. It looks okay, handles well, durable, holds charge, charges fast, takes photos, takes videos, does all the things perfectly good. So if the price bracket that you're looking into is around $200 and $250 and you're looking for a phone that can be good at most of the stuff that you throw at it, it's not going to be amazing at anything, but it's not going to suck at anything either. It's going to be perfectly fine. Then, you know, it's worth considering the Blackview A95, but as I said, just not that color. It's pretty dreadful. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell down below to get notified when new videos come out on My Deep Guide. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.